Well, we started off with our football committee, our football ADs that were talking about important matters certainly related to them, related to scheduling, related to new rules. Our ADs followed that up with full meetings about everything related to other conference matters. And a lot of that conversation centered around basketball.
I think as a group, both the coaches and the athletic directors felt like that we've seen significant improvement in the basketball programs in our conference over the last 3 to 5 years, and felt like that the strategic plan we put in place had a big part to play in that. With regards to the tournament, really the last 3 years with the championship being on host institutions, the higher seeds, I think we've produced what we were looking for, and that's great crowds and enthusiastic games and really an exciting atmosphere. So looking forward to seeing what we do with the men's basketball tournament.
There was a lot of discussion about championships, and we looked at the double pod and how successful we felt like the double pod was with women's basketball, and so we made a decision to go on with that for 3 or 4 more years. And I thought with the women's basketball group and the men's basketball representatives that were in our meetings, they gave great insight regarding recruiting and retention in their championships that our groups listened to intently. And I think we've made great progress with our strategic plan, and I think it's going to continue by some of the recommendations and insights that were gained today.
Frank Smith with the NCAA came in and visited with our ADs on what they're trying to do to educate the membership in the way of basketball and basketball enforcement, how they're trying to support what we're trying to do. And then Charnel Kemper came in on basketball reform. What is the follow-up to the Rice Commission report?
The primary purpose of the presentation was to update the membership on the recent college basketball reform efforts that included the changes to the summer recruiting calendar, the agents and new NBA draft legislation, as well as student-athlete degree completion and the enforcement infractions process.
We had a presentation from Tim Young, USA Triathlon came in, which is very interesting, very educational for our member institutions. Of course, Hampton University is adding a women's triathlon, which is exciting for them, and it's going to be exciting to see how that works. But the growth triathlon is seeing is really incredible. So it was very interesting for us to see that grow, see the number of programs that are adopting that.
The purpose of being here to speak to the conference really is to give them an overview of if they were in a position of adding the sport of triathlon or any other sport for that matter, that at least we're part of the discussion, that they have the insight, the knowledge about what triathlon is, so we can actually be part of what it is that could be the future for the conference and for an institution within the conference. It's women only right now because of the Title IX situation, the emerging sports status we have with the NCAA.
It was a great conversation today with Dan Margulis, the ESPN. Of course, we signed a new deal with ESPN this year, which has really been very beneficial to the Big South. I think in a lot of ways we're breaking ground and leading the way, whether it's ESPN Plus or our heavy linear play, especially in relation to basketball, and how we can continue to benefit ESPN in terms of promoting ESPN and promoting Big South Network on ESPN Plus moving forward. So that was really good. CEOs will be focusing a lot on strategic planning, hearing from Collegiate Sports Associates, who's helping us with that process. So that's going to be a big focus. We're going to talk about one of the latest topics at the NCAA level in terms of name, image, and likeness, how student athletes might benefit from that. Of course, the NCAA has developed a working group to focus on that. Donald Remy, the Chief Operating Officer, is going to visit with our CEOs and talking about that. So I think that'll be very informative. One of the biggest topics certainly is our basketball championship. We're continuing to explore, are there opportunities through neutral sites? Do we stay with our current format? What's the best way to position ourselves through our basketball championship to be as successful as we can in basketball, which is certainly our showcase sport?